You won't easily imagine what happiness looks like for a pet until you watch the story we are about to tell below. The past and present will highlight that emotion of theirs. If you find the video interesting, don't forget to like and subscribe to support us. Sunnydale Animal Shelter, a sanctuary for abandoned and rescued animals, is managed by David Thompson, a compassionate man deeply committed to animal welfare. One autumn day, he met a middle-aged woman named Ellen, who arrived with two frightened animals, a puppy named Maxie and a protective cat named Millie. Ellen explained that she could no longer care for them and left them at the shelter, along with a small envelope to help with their care. David quickly noticed the close bond between Maxie and Millie, as Millie comforted Maxie, who was trembling with fear. Although the shelter staff did their best to help the pair adjust, Maxie continued to whimper, and Millie stayed close by his side, indifferent to her surroundings. Sensing the need to understand their trauma, David discovered a videotape provided by Ellen that revealed the horrific abuse they had endured in the past. The footage exposed the cruelty of their previous owner, explaining Maxie's fear and Millie's protective instincts. Determined to help the two recover, David and the shelter staff created a safer, quieter space for them and implemented a specialized care plan. Gradually, Maxie began to open up and play, while Millie started to relax. As their recovery progressed, David knew they would need a special home that could understand their unique needs. One fateful day, Tom and Sarah Miller, a kind-hearted couple looking to adopt a pet, visited the shelter. They were immediately drawn to Maxie and Millie and expressed their desire to adopt both animals. While David felt joy at finding them the perfect home, he also felt a tinge of sadness as he realized their journey at the shelter was coming to an end. Over time, Tom and Sarah provided the love and patience essential to Maxie and Millie's healing. As months passed, the couple sent regular updates showing significant progress. Maxie now enjoyed playing outdoors, and Millie embraced a newfound sense of relaxation. Inspired by the transformation of their pets, Tom and Sarah proposed the creation of a fund named the Maxie and Millie Fund to support recovery programs for other abused animals. The fund flourished, helping countless animals find healing and loving homes. Maxie and Millie thrived in their new environment, embodying the vitality and transformative power of love. David, moved by their journey, continued his mission at the shelter, reminding every new animal that they were safe and could begin a new life. Although their past may have been painful, the future held the promise of happiness if nurtured with love. Do you believe that a shared love for cats can bring two people together in this vast world? Inside a cozy cat cafe nestled at the intersection of two bustling streets, visitors enjoy the aroma of coffee and freshly baked pastries, surrounded by countless playful felines. One day, a new arrival made its debut, a white cat with black spots resembling a tiny tuxedo. After receiving some care and a little bow tie, it was named Mr. Purr, quickly winning the hearts of the cafe's customers, especially two lonely children, a boy named Sasha and a girl named Yulia. Sasha, 15 years old, came from a troubled family with parents who struggled with alcoholism. Despite the hardships at home, he excelled in school, particularly in computer science, and found solace at the cafe, where he loved the cats but couldn't keep one of his own. In contrast, Yulia lived with her wealthy father and stepmother, who was allergic to cats. Although she had every material comfort, she felt lonely and missed her mother, who lived in another city. Both children found a sense of peace at the cafe and a special connection with Mr. Purr. One day, however, when Sasha arrived at the cafe, Mr. Purr and Yulia were gone. A staff member told him that a man had taken the cat as a gift for his daughter, leaving Sasha heartbroken. He searched for them but had no way to contact Yulia. Time passed, and Sasha grew up, achieving his dreams of a stable life and a good career. Yet, he never forgot Yulia or Mr. Purr Purr. 12 years later, during a business trip to a big city, Sasha entered a cafe and was stunned by a familiar sight: a white cat with black spots and a little bow tie. It was Mr. Purr Purr. He approached the table where a young woman was sitting, and they instantly recognized each other. It was Yulia. She explained that her father had moved them, along with Mr. Purr Purr, to a new city after their previous life had fallen apart. Their reunion was filled with joy and nostalgia, rekindling the bond they had formed years ago. Though both had grown and changed, their connection remained as strong as ever. They promised to stay together, proving that love and friendship can endure the trials of time and separation. Not only would they find happiness, but Mr. Purr Purr would also bask in the warmth of their lasting affection. Have you ever thought about putting aside your city life for a while to seek peace and comfort somewhere else? That's exactly what Emily Thompson, a 28-year-old wildlife photographer, did when she embarked on an unforgettable adventure, leaving behind the hustle and bustle of the city. After weeks of non-stop work, she decided to return to her family's countryside home, hoping to unwind and capture the beauty of nature. But as she drove through the forest, her peace was abruptly interrupted. A large brown bear appeared in the middle of the road. Emily's heart raced as she watched the bear, whose gaze seemed to carry a deep sadness. Instead of driving away, she felt an inexplicable urge to stay. She turned off the engine and cautiously stepped out of the car. To her surprise, the bear backed away a few steps, almost as if inviting her to follow. Driven by curiosity and empathy, Emily decided to trust her instincts and followed the bear into the forest. After a short walk, she discovered a wounded bear cub lying in a small clearing. The mother bear appeared anxious, doing her best to tend to the injured cub. Realizing the urgency of the situation, Emily knew she had to help but lacked the necessary tools. She recalled a veterinary clinic in the nearby town and carefully carried the cub back to her car, with the mother bear following closely behind. At the clinic, Emily rushed inside to find help. Dr. Mitchell, the veterinarian, quickly attended to the injured cub. After a tense wait, he assured her that the cub's condition had stabilized, though recovery would take time. In the days that followed, Emily stayed at the clinic, forming a close bond with the little bear as it slowly healed. Eventually, local wildlife experts determined it was time to reunite the cub with its mother. On the day of the reunion, Emily and the team brought the cub back to the forest. As they released it, the cub let out a call, and moments later, the mother bear emerged from the trees. The emotional reunion brought tears of joy to Emily's eyes. She returned to the city with a deep sense of fulfillment. Her photographs now carried a new layer of meaning, reflecting the significance of this life-changing experience. She shared her story widely, inspiring others with her message of empathy and courage. Through her journey, Emily learned that the most meaningful moments often come unexpectedly, and that great decisions sometimes require bold action. So, if you ever face a big choice, don't hesitate. Take the leap. Do you think a cat could change someone's dislike for animals? Let the following story show you how. Mark Holloway, a 42-year-old man, felt trapped in a whirlwind of grief and responsibility after the death of his wife, Sarah, 3 years ago. His life now revolved around caring for his young daughter, Emily, whose laughter reminded him of the joy they once shared as a family. Mark had never liked animals. Even though Sarah had often expressed a desire for a pet, especially a cat. But burdened by the challenges of single fatherhood, Mark remained adamant about keeping their home pet-free. One rainy afternoon, after much insistence from Emily, Mark took her to the park. There, they witnessed an elderly woman treating a small cat poorly. Horrified, Emily rushed to protect the kitten. Initially hesitant, Mark felt compelled to step in to defend his daughter. He offered to buy the cat from the woman, who reluctantly accepted his $20. When Mark saw Emily cradling the kitten in her arms, an unexpected emotional connection stirred within him. At home, they gave the kitten a bath, revealing its soft orange fur, a stark contrast to its earlier bedraggled state. Emily named it Angel, and though Mark was still unsure about having a pet, he couldn't deny the positive effect the kitten had on their lives, especially on Emily. As the days passed, Emily became more cheerful, and to his surprise, Mark found himself gradually opening up to the companionship Angel offered. The cat seemed to sense their emotions, always offering comfort during tough moments. One day, while working on his car, Mark accidentally cut his hand. To his amazement, Angel approached and gently licked the wound, offering unexpected comfort. That small gesture shifted something in Mark. He began to truly embrace the bond forming between them. Angel had brought warmth back into their home, filling it with love and laughter that had been missing for so long. As Mark and Emily cared for Angel, their lives blossomed. They became more involved in their community, volunteering at a local animal shelter and sharing the story of how they had rescued Angel. One evening, the woman who had mistreated Angel, Margaret, knocked on their door, seeking forgiveness. Without hesitation, Emily forgave her and reassured Margaret that Angel had already forgiven her a long time ago. Mark invited Margaret in for tea, and as they shared stories, they discovered common ground and understanding through the cat that connected them. Later that night, as Mark tucked Emily into bed, she smiled and told him that he was like a guardian angel for both Angel and Margaret. In that moment, Mark realized that in their own way, they had become vessels of kindness, spreading love wherever they went. With Angel curled up beside him, Mark felt a deep sense of peace and purpose, knowing that together they were stepping into the future with hope, love, and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. Sevilla and Stepan were two elderly war veterans living in a nearly deserted village, the last remaining residents in a place where time seemed to stand still. Both had experienced the loss of many friends and faced the realities of a quiet, isolated life, as their children were too busy with their own lives to return home. Sevilla struggled with health issues, particularly severe back pain, while Stepan had recently developed leg problems. Despite these challenges, they found comfort in each other's companionship, and in Orange, Stepan's loyal cat. One night, Stepan was unable to sleep due to the pain in his leg. Trying to keep the mood light, he jokingly scolded Orange, blaming him for causing trouble. But it was as if the cat understood Stepan's discomfort. Orange climbed onto his lap, offering quiet solace with his presence. The next morning, Sevilla came over to share breakfast, and as they talked, they chuckled over the small joys in life, particularly the unexpected companionship that Orange had brought them. As winter passed, Orange suddenly disappeared for a few days, leaving both of them deeply worried. They searched for him, fearing the worst. However, when he finally returned, dirty and starving, their initial worry gave way to joy and relief at his safe return, even though he seemed a bit melancholy. Then, one summer morning, Sevilla spotted Orange returning with a small ginger kitten in his mouth. At first, she was puzzled, assuming that Orange had picked up the kitten somewhere and brought it back out of curiosity. She suggested they care for the little one, thinking it was just a stray. But later that day, Stepan shared some surprising news. Orange was not just looking after a stray, He was the proud father of 6 kittens. His unexpected time away had been spent starting a new family of his own. Their once empty household now brimmed with life. The arrival of the kittens brought warmth and laughter to the quiet lives of Sevilla and Stepan, filling their days with joyful chaos. What began as a simple friendship between 2 old souls and a loyal cat had blossomed into a family. Unexpected but heartwarming. You will find your mission and the meaning of life when you place your love in the right place, just like Dr. Amelia Theron, a dedicated veterinarian at the Numani Wildlife Sanctuary in Kenya. She often reflects on the years she has spent caring for endangered wildlife, especially a young male elephant she saved more than a decade ago. One day, Amelia received an urgent call about an injured bull elephant limping toward the sanctuary. Upon arrival, she was astonished to recognize the elephant. It was Jabari, the same elephant she had treated years earlier. Despite being injured by a poacher's trap, Jabari seemed to remember her, and their bond was quickly rekindled as she tended to his wounds. As Jabari recovered, his playful and affectionate nature emerged, and he often engaged in gentle mischief with Amelia. Their relationship deepened, illustrating the profound emotional intelligence of elephants. However, disaster struck when poachers invaded the sanctuary, targeting the elephants for their tusks. Amid the chaos, Jabari courageously protected a fallen calf, while Amelia, committed to safeguarding the animals, stepped in to distract the poachers. In a dramatic moment, Jabari charged at the poachers, giving Amelia the opportunity to awaken the sedated elephants. Although the situation was chaotic, Jabari was shot while defending Amelia, forcing her to work tirelessly to save him. As dawn broke, she stabilized Jabari, and the sanctuary slowly began to recover from the attack. In the months that followed, Jabari made a full recovery and chose to remain at the sanctuary, becoming a symbol of courage and hope. Amelia shared their story with visitors, emphasizing the deep emotional connections that can exist between humans and animals. One day, to her amazement, Jabari used his trunk to draw a picture on the ground, a powerful expression of their enduring bond. You might forget an animal friend at some point, but I can assure you that once you've loved an animal, you'll remain in their memory until the end of time. So, don't hesitate to share this video to spread these meaningful stories to more people. Thank you, and see you in the next videos.